Good afternoon, good morning. It's morning somewhere. Mario Hemsley, Impromptu, live broadcast. What's happening? Come on. Good afternoon. Good morning. Mario Hemsley coming to you live here. We always open up with music just to get the blood flowing. Come on. Love Shadow. All free music all the time. You can go get some. Is it all too much? Come on. Good morning, good afternoon. Is it all too much? That's right. Is it all too much? Just getting the show rolling, y'all. Leave me alone. Good morning. Hey, Cornelia. Got a lot to talk about. 1 minute to showtime. Out here in California smoking that legal weed. Legal. Like we didn't do it when it was illegal. Sights out of body heat. Mario Hemsley. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Mario. It's actually, the show is entitled Mario Impromptu in the morning, except I got distracted by about 2 hours. 2 or 3 hours, and so it's actually today Mario Impromptu in the afternoon. And the reason I'm doing this is because many of you are my followers. The Morning Coffee with Mario show is now on hiatus. That means we are on break, which is not really a break. We're actually using this time to plan our broadcast for the upcoming season. So, you know, we technically would be busy. But the other story is that I had been planning to have a procedure, which was really a laparoscopic surgery. I mean, it's a surgery done through the scope, and for my GE reflux. I talk about these things because so many of you out there have some of the same stuff. That it just was the easiest thing as being a citizen journalist, especially a physician, was to talk about some of the things that I'm going through, but so many of you are going through. So I had bad GE reflux. Some people call it heartburn, all that. Double meds twice a day. And after 5 months, I had a procedure, a surgery called a fundoplication. Also that was diagnosed with what they call a hiatal hernia, where part of your stomach pushes through the diaphragm. So you got part of it above and then a part below, and that causes a constriction problem. So I had all that stuff done. So I want to thank, first of all the people who've been writing in. But even as a physician, I totally underestimated the recovery. Now, a bunch of you are saying right now, well, you look good. Well, I didn't look good this morning. It takes a while. It takes me like 2 hours. I'm just telling you, I woke up, I felt okay. Then, the gastric bloating starts happening. Your belly's all, distended. And so by the time I get showered and cleaned up, I'm kind of worn out. Took my meds, relaxed a little bit. And so I look good after doing all that. But it definitely was a 2-hour process. So that's the thing I want to remind some of you too. You gotta, like my mom was telling me, you gotta embrace some of this stuff and go with the flow. You don't have any choice anyway. And so since as we get older, if you're lucky enough to get older, then you go through stuff. And having the right attitude is important. I want to thank some of the people writing in. Christina, what's happening? Thank you. I know she said, Mario, you're looking well. I thank you. Right now I'm feeling pretty good because I've got all my meds in. I've had some nice chamomile tea, and I'm rewarding myself with a coffee, which some people would say, no. But it has never been a problem for me with the coffee in terms of degree of symptoms, even though it's another discussion. But so just 1 cup. And so we're here today with Mario's Impromptu show, which is what I'm going to do during the hiatus, when I have to get together with you to talk about things that are going on. And while we're on hiatus, I still need to communicate because there's so much stuff going on. For one, the government shutdown and the president. So we're going to talk about those things, and I'm going to play some music, and we're going to do all this stuff because that's the format of the show. So first things first, I got all that updated news of my health stuff, and so you all can know that that's doing better, looking better. Got 5 holes punched in my abdomen, but it's kind of a decorative scars of living. You learn to embrace your surgical scars. See, this is part of the whole thing. It's like some of the women may embrace that C-section scar, but you learn to embrace the scars, your battle wounds, and therefore there am I. Okay. So, first things first, the president is coming out more and more stuff. As it turns out, back in April of 17, which is the same month where I did my famed broadcast, predicting Trump's impeachment and eventual trial. When I did that broadcast of 5/22/17, I didn't know that approximately the same time the FBI was launching an investigation into Trump, and that's what's coming out. Because it was the president, they didn't tell you that they were investigating the obvious. That when the president said those statements, made those statements that to many of us seem so inflammatory that someone should be following up on this. And as it turns out, they were. They've been following up on this forever, and that's what we're going to finally be knowing, because Mueller hasn't leaked almost nothing, right? No one's heard his voice, damn near. He's a mystery man, and so from what I understand, everything's being handled in an exceptional way. This is indeed the man who brought down John Gotti, the Teflon Don. So, and Mueller's credentials are impeccable, attention to detail. Again, I understand men like this because this is the type of habits I tried to emulate myself in my own medical practice. You want to be a person who is a little type A, a little compulsive, attention to detail, and that's what Mueller has been doing. So the president is right now, part of the reason that this whole wall thing is going on to me is to provide a distraction. He wants to look good to his base. He doesn't care at all about hurting the people. And since he doesn't care about hurting the people, then he can just use it for what it's worth, which is to help inflame his base and distract from the fact that the forces that be are closing in. Because what they're going to do, and as they do with most mob crime situations, is they go in and get everybody around you and narrow it down to you, make it obvious. So they're getting everybody around the president, as you've noticed, and I predicted this, and he calls it a hoax, but I think the last, it was like 30 either indictments. It's like 16 people pled guilty. There's a lot of stuff out there for it being a hoax. And remember, part of my prediction of 5/22/17 was that it would be an orgy of evidence, that the president was so sloppy. The point I made back then was that people I know like this, they don't change their habits. He's too arrogant to adjust and change of any of his habits. So I had predicted back then that there was going to be an orgy of evidence and that everywhere you look, you're going to find proof. And again, that's what's happening. So impeachment. Now, as part of all this going on, you have the border wall fight, which is the president keeping the government now closed in an unprecedented way over his funding of the wall that Mexico was supposed to pay for, but instead he's shutting down the U.S. government. You know, and I must admit, at some point you Trumps, if you're a Republican and you're not outraged against all of this, then you're really part of the problem. You really are. I hate to say it. It's got to that point. If you're a Republican who says nothing, who's not voicing any outrage or concern, you're part of the problem. Republicans are now the party of bigotry and racism, and I'm of the point of view, at some point in time, you say, well, my 62% beats your 30%. And then you go to the mattresses. You fight. It's at that point, and that's where I think it's coming to. But still, this border wall shutdown made me aware of some things I didn't know because they were coming across my desk. And one of the things that came across my desk, you guys, was that 40% of Americans, 40% of Americans do not have enough savings to cover a $400 emergency. Think about that. 40% of Americans do not have enough savings to cover a $400 emergency. So any medical thing is like out of the question. So this shows us where we are because there was an interesting article that came out about how cities make money by fining the poor. Yeah, because they get caught up, they keep getting fines for living in the wrong place, which they can't pay. So you get a fine or for a ticket for being homeless. Then you can't get to court because you have no way of getting around anyway. So then they have you in whatever contempt or failing to appear, whatever they do. Next thing you know, you have a warrant. So all of these things end up for you getting more expenses, more legal fees that you can't pay, and then you're in the system. They put you in jail. This is absolutely ridiculous because what they're actually doing is punishing you for being poor. So this is where we stand now today, and a lot of the cities who are dealing with this, Los Angeles, one of the big ones, Seattle, New York, these are some of the big ones, something has to be done. Which got to the other article about the rapid increases in homelessness in certain U.S. cities. Now, check it out. Part of the rapid increase in homelessness that they're seeing is related to development of the cities, like Los Angeles, where there's essentially less and less and less affordable housing. It's harder and harder. So in these ways, you make these cities so that only the most affluent can live. I guess that becomes good for the affluent people, but we have yet to develop a philosophy. See, I think it has to be approached on a national level, and that part of every zoning area has to include a certain amount of affordable housing, and it actually includes some provisions for homeless. Because this is an ongoing problem, and it's passing the buck over and over from system to system. Well, you know, I was at County Hospital. I trained in medicine. One of the good things about County Hospital was even if you were on the street, you could check into the hospital with your ongoing existing medical condition and get a warm bed, at least fairly warm, and a meal. So this is part of the problem. We need a national solution to these things. Now, while these things are going on, what's amazing is how much the news is reporting again on things that we think are stupid. Let me give you an example. So your newly elected representative, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, has been calling out the media. And so now she's under attack from the same media folks saying she and Trump have something in common, that they attack the media. But let me remind the people, no offense, and I did this before, these same media are the same ones who have effectively been ignoring my people and their issues forever. So CNN and MSNBC, as much as I agree with you on issues of Trump, you haven't been supporting anything that I really wanted to do in a long time of any substance. So let's be clear on that. And don't think that they are your friend. Make them prove it. Okay? Make them prove it over and over again. So she pointed how much they want to talk about, for example, a newly elected representative woman who says the word motherfucker, as opposed to calling out Steve King, this other racist Republican that nobody in the party seems to be willing to criticize. This is, again, what's the problem with the Republican Party. I'm not saying the Democrats don't have their problems, they do. Let's put it aside for a second, because we need to address that. But the Republicans, their degree of cowardice, brown nosing, is disgusting. I don't know how anyone out there, the only way you can call yourself a Republican is because you live in one of those enclaves, right? Where everybody around you is a Republican, so you don't feel so bad that you're out there, because you're amongst a group of idiots who are continuing to support the president. And like I said, if you are a Trump supporter and you claim you're not a racist, at least we know that racism is not a deal breaker for you, okay? Because whether or not you are a racist is to be debated. But certainly racism is not a problem for you. Sexism, you're willing to sell out those things for what you might see as a financial incentive or whatever. So at least I can certainly criticize your priorities if you are a Trump supporter, that you're willing to sell out the whole world for whatever you feel is some degree of financial gain. Now, on the other hand, this will tell you what's wrong with the Democrats, is that they last time put up a candidate that they just essentially ignored the fact that most people didn't want or trust Hillary Clinton. In fact, what's amazing to me is you still have Hillary Clinton supporters out there trying to sell you on Hillary Clinton. You know, that's like a horse that's been dead. Bury it and move on. Let it go. I don't even want to debate it anymore. Okay, you Hillary supporters. There's new people to support. Find you a new one and support them, because that one is dead. Let that horse go. Who I do like is Ocasio-Cortez, because she's attempting to serve the people. See, she's not worried about re-election. She's not worried about the fundraising. She's worried about dealing with the issues that she got elected to attack. And that's why I love what she's doing right now. She's a big deal of what inspires me about the new folks in there. because I have certain specific new people, and also the emergence as front runners of some of the old people, like Howard University alumni Kamala Harris, who, from Howard, her sister, bravo. And so running for president, Beto O'Rourke. Some consortium of this will come together. In other words, they're all going to run, and then they're going to move into some agreements where somebody becomes the front runner, someone becomes the second. My prediction is that Beto O'Rourke is going to run for president with Kamala Harris as his vice president. That is my prediction. Go on record. You know me, I love to make predictions. And so I'm going on record for that right now, early, that Kamala Harris is going to be the vice presidential candidate to Beto O'Rourke. Okay? All right. So, all right. Now, I got to give you something good to talk about today. I had it. And the good thing has to do, take a look. Let me see if I can get this stuff to work right. Function. Right, let's see if I can show you this. Okay, take a look. This young lady, Katelyn Ohashi, earns a perfect 10 UCLA gymnast, did a routine that people fell in love with. Let me show you the routine. I think the routine is here. Here it is by UCLA. Let's take a look. Looks like there's some black in there somewhere. I don't know her background. I just Google this. That don't look like Ohashi. Looks like some Katelyn. Oh, go girlfriend. Whoa. Perfect 10, perfect 10. Give it up for Katelyn Ohashi. Give it up. Katelyn Ohashi. Now let's see what we can find out about this young lady. Yeah.
This is Katelyn Ohashi.
Katelyn Ohashi. Let's see what we can find out about her. Or Wikipedia. Katelyn Michelle Ohashi is an American artistic gymnast. Currently, she competes for the University of California, Los Angeles, and is a two-time All-American. Wow. Let's see what we can find about her ethnicity. They don't seem blah, 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 la, 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 like nobody wants to know. Assistant coaches, yoga, choreographer. I don't see. See, they act like no one wants to know. We want to know our ethnic background. Okay, so we're gonna have. See, when they omit it like this, then it looks funny. So now we gotta go. Katelyn Ohashi ethnicity search. Here you go. Okay. So here's what they're talking about. Katelyn's truth. My name is, get out the way. Okay, I am half Japanese and half German. My parents are both third generation and have never visited their home country. So then I thought she looked like some black, you never know. But she says that she's half Japanese and half German. Body shaming, blah, blah, blah. Wow. So there you go. Katelyn Ohashi. I don't have any claps. Give it up. All right, you know how we do here at Pack Stereo in the morning. We always take our musical breaks. Now's the time to enter another one of those where we take our musical breaks. So here we go. Mario Hemsley, Impromptu, discussing the president and giving you some good stuff too, like Katelyn Ohashi. See, I thought that booty made you look a little black. Been a good morning. I'm gonna try to do this more often. Yes. Back stereo.
Got a hold on me. Lock it up, lock it down, throw the key away. 247 got a hold on me. Every minute, every hour, every day. 247 got a hold on me. There's no matter when that I could never see it. 247 got a hold on me. I'm to the top for you girl every day. 247 got a hold on me. Lock it up, lock it down, throw the key away. 247 got a hold on me.
Sight, sound, and body heat. Mario Hemsley, thank you for tuning in. I'll be bringing some impromptus to you coming up. Don't lose hope, people. This process is taking us to a better time. It's a necessary process. It's a necessary process as we move forward. Donald Trump, believe it or not, this experience is going to end up being one of the better ones for this country because it's going to move us to move forward. They'll make sure it can never happen again. From now on, every presidential candidate will be required to release their tax returns. Out of this is going to come a lot of good as we make sure that something as evil as Donald Trump will never, ever happen again to us here in this country. So this process is a good one as we move forward, and there's no going back. We will be kinder, gentler, more caring about issues of our gay brothers and sisters, more caring about the struggles of the women in our society who are still dealing with oppression and ceilings at the workplace and all of that. As we deal more effectively and really with race and the issues of racism and how prevalent and how American as apple pie racism is in the United States of America. I'm Mario Hemsley. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next week.